Tí van san istig agus céad fáilte rís go dtí LTV a héan. We're delighted to welcome you to this week's programmes of LTV. And as usual, we begin right away by calling on Pat O'Connell to give you news and sport. Pat.
Hello and welcome to this week's LTV News and Sports Desk. I start off this week with news from the Lee Valley Enterprise Board, who just informed us that plans are well underway for the 2010 St. Patrick's Day Parade in Macroom. This year the theme of the parade is going to be on a circus theme, and the committee are anxious that the audience will participate in the parade this year, and they're giving a prize for the best dressed clown on the day. So they're also been reintroducing this year the window display. This was very popular some years ago, when the shops and the business in the town got into the whole theme of the parade and did up their windows, and they're running a competition for the best window display as well this year. Now, as I say, the theme of the parade is going to be on a circus theme, and again they're appealing to all clubs and associations within the Lee Valley area to participate in the parade, whether it be entering floats or getting involved with different communities, because every year the parade draws in the region of 15,000 people to Macroom on the day, and it's a great way of advertising your wares or advertising your own community group and getting involved in the whole festive activity around Macroom for Patrick's Day. Anybody who wishes to find out further information, they can contact Patrick O'Driscoll on 087 2322 505. That's Patrick O'Driscoll on 087 2322 505. So again, the Lee Valley Enterprise Board, as I said, are looking forward to a bigger and better parade again in 2010. Now, we have a note here from Macroom Senior Citizens Stroke Active Retirement Group, and as you're aware, every year they now run an annual holiday for active retired people, and this year they're off to Kilkenny. This is a 5-night stroke 6-day holiday break, and this year, as I say, it's heading off to Kilkenny, and the hotel that they'll be using is the New Park 4-star hotel, which is situated in Kilkenny town. There'll be 5 nights bed and breakfast and 5 evening meals. The return coach from Macroom to Kilkenny, plus there'll be 4 day tours during the entire trip. There'll be entertainment each night, and the proposed itinerary is that day tours will include Kilkenny, Waterford, Glendalough, Dublin and Clonmacnoise. Now, anybody interested in taking part in this holiday, which over the last number of years has proved very, very successful, you can pick up a booking form from the Senior Citizens Complex in Clondrohid, Macroom. The total cost of the whole package is €360, and if you need a single room supplement, that's available at €10 a night extra. So anybody interested in going this trip, as I say, booking forms can be obtained from the Macroom Senior Citizens Complex at Ceylon Haven, Lucy's Lane, Macroom. And going from past experiences over the last couple of years, and especially last year, it's advisable that you book early, because the whole trip was booked out in the space of a couple of weeks. So, as I say, that's the Senior Citizens Active Retirement Group after Kilkenny this year, and forms are available from the Senior Citizens in Ceylon Haven. Now, last year, at the end of the year, the Mills Got Talent competition was held back in the Mills in Ballybona, and on last Friday night, a cheque of €8,000 was presented to the Leukemia Ward of the Mercy University Hospital in Cork. We went along with our cameras, and we bring you some of this presentation now.
I get out of the picture now. You want men with hair in this picture, if you don't mind me saying so.
Hartjaun uned als leukemia l'ospedale na Trócaire Gorky tá an áhasaram on Sheikh Brashaw of Glocka at a hun. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Children's Leukemia Unit in Cork, I've been asked by their coordinators to accept this marvellous check on their behalf. And in doing so, I would like to congratulate Don O'Leary and the whole team involved with the Mills Got Talent, and I'd like to congratulate Carmel, local gal, doing well, excellent stuff, congratulations. But the main thing is, this is going to an excellent fund to look after people who have in fact got a very serious illness and now have experience in that, insofar as that a young fellow of ours in 1993 got leukemia. He was there until 98, came good, full credit to the Mercy Hospital. So on the behalf of the Mercy Hospital, I would also thank all concerned for making this so wonderful. Thank you.
Full face hugs and them. The lads from the top of Coombe, they're doing the shave, I think, for Marymount Hospice. So they're shaving their beards on the 6th of March and their heads and wherever else, and legs and stuff. So they're doing a small bit of a whip around there, so if you could, you know yourselves.
Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it for the hairy men. The hairy men from Coombe.
In Carrigan Road, the Carrigan Road and Clondrohid 30 Towns Group, they're holding their annual general meeting in the Carrigan Road on Tuesday, February the 23rd at 7:30 p.m. and all are welcome to come along. That's the Carrigan Road and Clondrohid 30 Towns Group, who are doing tremendous work out there in Carrigan Road Village. They're having their AGM next Tuesday night, the 23rd, so they're asking everybody to come along and help them out as they start their endeavours for 2010 in the 30 Towns competitions. Any of you interested in Shannos dancing? Classes take place every Tuesday night in Coolcore House, Macroom, and this is hosted by Ahina Kjoltis. And the classes for beginners begin at 7:30 p.m. and are followed by classes for improvers at 8:30 p.m. Basic steps from the Connemara tradition, along with some local cock steps, are taught in a relaxed and non-pressure atmosphere. So, if anybody that's interested in Shannos dancing, it's on every Tuesday night in Coolcore House, starting at 7:30 p.m. This is just a reminder, Jamie Kieran Memorial is a table quiz which will be held in the Tavern in Clondrohid on Friday the 26th of February at 9 p.m. in aid of Macroom Hospital. It's €30 per table of 3, and your support will be very much appreciated. As you all know, Jamie Kieran, not the rest of them, he held regular fundraisers for the Macroom Hospital during his lifetime, and no doubt he will be fondly remembered at this function. That's, as I say, on the 26th of February at 9 p.m. in the Clondrohid Tavern. Also, Clondrohid National School, the senior quiz team, they took first prize in the recently held Credit Union table quiz, and the junior team came in second place, so we'd like to say well done to everybody involved there. And we also have a note that fresh meat and veg was available every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. in the car park at Clondrohid Tavern in Clondrohid. Now last night, Tuesday night in Courtshire, the draws for the Junior Football Championship 2010 were made, and the following are the Junior A football draws for 2010. The preliminary round, Ballincollig take on Blarney. Dunamore versus Neverbawn. Inniscarra versus Kilmichael. Ahina versus Macroom. Clondrohid versus Ivalere. Dripsey versus Kilmurray. And Kennevy play the losers of the preliminary round, which is Ballincollig or Blarney. That's my lot for you this week. Again, if you need anything covered or anything mentioned here on our LTV1 programme, would you please contact me? It's Pat O'Connell at LTV1 Macroom, or you can ring us on 087 266 2192. That's 087 266 2192. Again, thank you for watching and good night.
Thank you very much indeed, Pat. Lots happening there with news and sport. And for more local news, over to Anne Dunn for news of the Briery Gap. Anne.
Hello and welcome to the programme. Once again, I have the listings for the entertainment coming for the next few weeks. And on Friday the 26th of February at 7:30 p.m. we have the All-Ireland Second Level Schools Choral Festival. And Saturday the 27th of February from 10 a.m. in the morning, the All-Ireland Transition Year Drama Festivals. And once again, Friday the 26th at 7:30 for the Choral Festival, and Saturday the 27th from 10 a.m. the All-Ireland Transition Year Drama Festival Finals 2010. Now on Friday the 5th, Saturday the 6th at 8 p.m. and Sunday the 7th of March at 3 p.m. Star Makers present Mary Poppins. I'm sure that's going to be a wonderful show once again this year with Star Makers. And once again the dates: Friday the 5th, Saturday the 6th at 8 p.m. and Sunday the 7th at 3 p.m. Now on Wednesday the 10th of March, Thursday the 11th and Friday the 12th at 8 p.m. Salon Players present Separate Beds. Now that's a comedy by Sam Cree and it's directed by Pat Melia. Once again, Wednesday the 10th, Thursday the 11th and Friday the 12th at 8 p.m. Salon Players present Separate Beds. And cinema in association with Salon Film Society on Monday the 1st of March at 8:30 p.m. A Serious Men. That's Salon Film Society on Monday the 1st of March at 8:30 p.m. A Serious Men. Now I've been handed something here by Sheila Hallisey, and it's in relation to a parish mission in Kilmurray. That's Kilmurray Parish Mission, and the mission will be held in all three parish churches with morning mass and an evening mission service led by Redemptionist fathers, Father Derek Meskel, Father Gerard Maloney and Father Sean Duggan. And it commences on February the 28th, which is Sunday, and it continues to March the 6th. Now that's once again the parish mission at Kilmurray, and it will be in all three parish churches from February the 28th to March the 6th. So that's all for me for this week. See you all again next week. In the meantime, enjoy yourself.
We're going over now to the Bellin in Clondrohid for a scriecht that was held a short time ago. This is recorded by Dave Manny and presented to you by Michael Lehan, who was the host for the evening. This is part one of that scriecht.
Welcome everybody. We're here at the Bellin in Clondrohid. Everybody watching this will probably know where the Bellin is, about a mile and a half on the eastern side of Clondrohid village, across from the graveyard. It spans over 3 centuries. It started out like most pubs as a shebeen, and when licensing laws came in, I think one of the phases of licensing laws was 1926, and it was a licensed premises like all other old pubs from there on, but in earlier days it was a shebeen. Now, a lot of characters have gone through it. There's a lot of local history. We'll be calling to the Bullan across the road outside the graveyard for baptising babies. St. Gubna's Stone, the historic journey of St. Gubnat with in the 6th century with the deer, the white deer. Going through here and on to Kilgubnat and eventually on to Ballyvourney, where Ballyvourney is synonymous with the white deer. Then of course from Carrigastyra we have the story by Antara Padrolera of Mushkiel of the Buckley family Derrily, and we have a little poem by Brendan Kennedy on that. Another, we're touching on a few more little things, Bishop Phelan O'Shea. The origin of the original, no, these are all historic things. The origin of the original Clondrohid village, west of the bridge. A few little things that we'll touch on, just to give its place name of importance. But the kernel of the whole thing, I suppose, is enjoyment. History is just a little bit added in. The kernel of the whole thing is enjoyment, and music's on, bit of storytelling, and without any further ado, I'll introduce no stranger to this house. He often played here before, Martin Carey. Come and have a look. A very accomplished box player, as most people very well know. So I think it's time for me to shut up and to get a bit of music on stream. So there's no better man to do that than Martin. Martin, maybe you'd like to start us off with a selection of your choice. Selection. The next one we'll have on there will be Noel O'Keefe, who has an interesting story to tell about Taylorism. A previous generation of Noel's, his predecessors, one was a tailor, and he has very interesting stories, highly entertaining stories to tell about the trade of being a tailor. But in the meantime, I might ask Martin to do something that he does very well, a tribute to Jim Reeves, which is just something different, and I think Martin does it very well. So Martin, away lad.
In Asheville down in Tennessee, a plane crashed to the trees, and in this fateful air crash was a singing star called Reeves. One of his favourite big songs was very well known to all, when he picked up the phone and he made this little call. Put you sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. I'll tell the man, turn the jukebox sweet on low, and you can tell your friends are with you. I'll have to go. Well, Gentleman Jim was everyone's friend, and these are some of the songs he used to sing. I know I won't forget you. I loved you too much for too long. Though I don't love you now, I still miss you till the breath in my body is gone. We'll walk the road of life together day by day, and I will love you every step on the way. For just as sure as every April turns to May, I will love you every step of the way. Adios, amigo. Adios, my friend. For the road we have traveled has come to an end. I ride to the Rio, where my life I will spend. Adios, amigo. Adios, my friend. I've been accused, convicted and condemned. The trial is over, now I face the end. Is this your way, telling me we're true? For all I'm guilty of is loving you. When my way goes free, precious Lord, hear me. I am tired, I'm weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the light, hold my hand, be my guide. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. That's my tribute.
Thanks, Martin. Very well done. Very well. Now, our next man has an interesting story to tell. No, look you. All here and harmless. A very interesting story that I never knew.
Yes, my grandfather was a tailor and worked in the late 20s, 30s, 40s and very, very early 50s. At a very early age, I learned to see a suit a person was wearing, whether it was tailor-made or not. And those that were not tailor-made or fitted by a tailor for the gentleman wearing, a fold of cloth would be from the left shoulder to the right and the right to the left. A prime example now would be Dáil Éireann. Have a look at those men sitting 10 or 12 in a long line and look at their necks. See as the suit coming up. They're not using their money very well.
He was your granduncle, is it?
No, he was my grandfather.
Grandfather.
He was Keffy from Messitown. That is some. Oh yes, my grandfather with my aunt, my two aunts, actually from the roll, fitted a gentleman and cut and sewed the suit in 24 hours. I don't believe anyone else in Macroom, well there's no tailors now, had beaten that.
To
Connie, I think it has come, your hour has come. we might get you there before you
Come the day and come the hour, come the power and the glory. We have come to answer our country's call, and the four brave provinces of Ireland, Ireland, together standing shoulder to shoulder, till from the rugged hills of Clondrohid, rose the mighty glens of Antrim, from the walls of Limerick and Dublin Bay, and the four brave provinces of Ireland, 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 together standing tall. Shoulder to shoulder, we'll answer Ireland's call.
I know he had the goodwill of the whole house behind him. Thanks again, Connie. We'll get another one from him there before the night is out. Now, we have a man here, not alone as an accomplished musician, and he's well known to everybody, Nigel Dennehy from Ryland, but of late he has also become an accomplished publican. He's after taking over Denny's pub in Ryland, and the rumours are that he's making a couple of thousand today. So, just time for me to shut up and let Nigel play, but Nigel is very well known in the music circuit. I don't know what's he going to do, but whatever he'll do it well. Nigel, it's all yours.
Thanks very much. A bit of Sharon Chandler.
Shani Bonus.
Shani, remember to say if you want to see her, don't you show back there?
Go on, Mike. Isn't that enough for everybody in the audience? It's a small cake.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us, and so say all of us, and so say all of us, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us.
His wife Sally is going to do the honours. She sings a lovely song. Sally, it's over to you. Sally, Errol Burton.
If you ever go across the seas to Ireland, sure it may be at the closing of your day, just to sit and watch the moon rise over Clondrohid, and watch the sun go down on Galway Bay. Just to hear again the ripple of the trout stream, the women in the meadows making hay, or to sit and beside the turf fire in a cabin, and watch the barefoot garçons as they play. Now the breeze is blowing o'er the seas to Ireland, our perfume by the heather as they blow, and the women in the uplands digging pretty speak a language that the strangers do not know. Now the strangers came and tried to teach us their ways. They scorned us just for being what we are, but they might as well go chasing afternoon beams, or light a penny candle from a star. Now if there's going to be a life hereafter, and somehow I am sure there's going to be, I would ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea. I would ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea.
Gary owns since I lost her giant pride, and a banshee cry rings every vale along that Shannon side. That city of the ancient walls and the broken treaty stone, undying fame surrounds your name, shone south from Garryowen. It was on a drear, a New Year's Eve, as the shades of night came down, while a lorry load of volunteers approached the border town. They were men from Dublin and from Cork, Fireman and Tyrone, and the leader was a Limerick man, shot south from Garryowen. And as they moved along the streets up to the barrack doors, while they scorned the danger they might face their lives that lay in store. They were fighting for old Ireland to claim their very own. And the foremost south, that gallant band, was south from Garryon. But the sergeant spied their daring plans, he spied them through the door. And the Sten guns and the rifles a hail of death did roar. And when that awful night was past, 2 men lay as cold as stones. Well, there was one from near the border and one from Garryon. Well, no more he will hear the seagull cry or the murdering Shannon tide, for he fell beneath that northern sky with O'Hanlon by his side. They have gone to join the gallant band of Plunkett, Pearse and Tone. Oh yes, a martyr for old Ireland was south from Garryon. It was on a drear New Year's Eve as the shades of night came down. Oh, well, a lorry load of volunteers approached the border town. They were men from Dublin and from Cork, Fermanagh and Tyrone, and the leader was a Limerick man, was south from Garryon. Oh yes, the leader was a Limerick man, was shot south from Garryon.
Without any further ado, I want to introduce Tony O'Neill here tonight. Tony's not a native of this area. He's in here for a couple of years. He lives not so far from me at home, but he's originally from County Laois. His wife is from County Cork. So give him a big welcome here anyway. And there's no need to introduce the man with the hat. The man on the box. Martin Carey is very well known to this house. So we won't waste any more time. They've been playing along there nicely a while ago, and we'll get another tune or two from him. But it's a lovely evening, a lovely April evening, and it's great to be alive. And it's great to be here. Even though Tony, behind me, will contradict that in a song by the name of Lads, It's Bloody Well Grand to Be Dead. So, Tony, I'll hand it over to you now.
Look at the coffin, lovely gold handles. Isn't it grand, boys, to be bloody well dead? Let's not have a snivel, let's have a bloody good cry. And always remember, the longer you live, the sooner you bloody well die. Look at the flowers, all withered and wilted. Isn't it grand, boys, to be bloody well dead? Let's not have a snivel, let's have a bloody good cry. And always remember, the longer you live, the sooner you bloody well die. Look at the mourners, all bloody hypocrites. Isn't it grand, boys, to be bloody well dead? Let's not have a snivel, let's have a bloody good cry. And always remember, the longer you live, the sooner you'll bloody well die. Look at the preacher, bloody sanctimonious. Isn't it grand, boys, to be bloody well dead? Let's not have a snivel, let's have a bloody good cry. And always remember, the longer you live, the sooner you bloody well die. Look at the feet, look at the widow, bloody great female. Isn't it grand, boys, to be bloody well dead? Let's not have a snivel, let's have a bloody good cry. And always remember, the longer you live, the sooner you'll bloody well die. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks very much. Now, without any further ado, I want to introduce Michael O'Connor. Michael is well known for all aspects of local history and national history. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
Being here in such a historic place as the Bell, of course, awfully near the very sad spot of Carrigastoira Famine mass graveyard, and most people can relate to the story of Famine by Tahar Padra Lera of the Buckley family Derry. So I'll hand over just to give a brief outline of that story now to Michael, and a bit of a rundown on that desperately sad part of our history, the famine years and the mass grave at Carrigastoira. Michael, you have a special interest in Famine by Tahar Padra Lera. I think I remember you were saying the monument that was put up below on the square in Macroom when you were a youngster going to school.
That's right.
You might tell that.
Yes, it was the centenary of his birth, 1939, that plaque on the bridge in Macroom was unveiled. And it was the Sunday after the famous Thunder and Lightning final in Croke Park, where Cork and Kilkenny met, and the first Sunday in September. And Cork hadn't been in an All-Ireland final for 10 years, which was a very unusual happening. The last time I was in 31 after a marathon with Kilkenny, the one on the third occasion, you know. But I'll never forget to start with that final. It was Michael O'Hare's first hurling All-Ireland, 1939. And it was a beautiful evening down in this part of the world. But all hell broke loose in Croke Park with thunder and lightning. In such a way, the rain was so heavy it was washing the dye off the jerseys, and I can remember O'Hare giving an exclamation, "There goes another flash of lightning." Anyway, Kilkenny won it in the end by the proverbial point. But anyway, the following Sunday was to be the unveiling of the plaque in Macroom, and incidentally that plaque was unveiled by the chaplain who was in Macroom at that time, Father John Ahern. He later became the Bishop of Ploughing. So he unveiled that plaque. And there was a challenge hurling match between Cork and Waterford. So that was the first time that I saw the men who became giants in later years, like Alan Lottie and Willie Murphy, Jack Lynch, Connie Buckley. Chris Ring wasn't on that. I might be wrong on that now. But all Ted Sullivan from Middleton and Mick Brennan from Sausage, they all became famous afterwards. They were part of the Fortner Road. But to get back to Father, as everyone knows, he was born in Liskergoyne in the parish of Clondrohid. And in the start of the book with Famine, he says, "The rugg me Liskergoyne and Nakamaliburna." A sore point with us, he doesn't mention Clondrohid at all. And Nakamaliburna. But that's a small thing. He was a very great Irishman. He eventually died. He's buried in Castellines. But he That book, Famine, is a very valuable historical document because it conveys a great impression of the terrible event that the famine was. It's hard to imagine it now. As a matter of fact, I remember some years ago, actually it was a Protestant clergyman in England said that until Hitler's extermination of the Jews, the Irish famine was probably the greatest disgrace in European history. For the simple reason that there was ample grain in the country, but it was exported. And in the course of a mere 8 or 9 years, 1 million people starved to death, and another 1.5 million immigrated in common ships to the far corners of the world. But anyway, to get back to one part of it, he conveys, I think, he told the story of the Buckley family of Derrylea in that book. And the story of the Buckley family in its own way conveys a perfect explanation of the horror of the famine. This Buckley man and his wife, they lived in Derrylea, they had 2 little children. The starvation came and the hunger, and that was followed of course by the fever. And they all went down to the workhouse in Macroom. They were segregated there. She was sent to her own place, he and the children to another place. But anyway, they wasn't too long there when the 2 little children died. And they were transported presumably by horse and cart up to the big hole above in Cargastyle and thrown in there. Whatever way Buckley and the wife were able to make contact, some kind of bush telegraphy, they decided that they'd go home to die. And they arranged to meet at the top of Bournemouth up New Street now. And they met and they proceeded homewards 6 or 7 miles to Derrylea. And along the way they passed very close by Cargastyle, where their poor 2 little children had been thrown in a few days before into a hole. And she was so weak, Buckley took her on his back the most of the way home. Up this, presumably it was this existing road or not, but it was a long, long walk before they arrived at their hovel in Derrylea, some part of the night, no one knows when. When they went in anyway, straight away, of course, they were so tired and fatigued, the 2 of them threw themselves down on the earthen floor. And the following day, the neighbours found the 2 of them stone dead, and her bare feet were pressed up against his bare chest. He was Gibeer Heat. When Brendan Kennedy, the poet, heard that story and was told to him, he wrote a poem about it, and I regret that I haven't it. Michael has it there, but I haven't my reading glasses with it to read it. But there are a couple of lines that I can remember where Kennedy said, "Stiff beside the hearth the woman lay, with her bare feet nailed to her man's bone." You know, could you ever think of a greater example of the love of one human being for another than that story? To make a wonderful film. So that's the story of the Buckley family. I hope I haven't bored you. It wasn't too long.
Very, very interesting. Very, very good. Giving a great account of that, because I think being so near this premises, it's a huge part of our history, a huge sad part of our history, and it's nice. In all Screeks, like Screeks Tango, you had music, song and dance, and you had jollification, but you also had sad stories. And you had all kinds of stories. That's what Screeks were made of. So Michael, we're very, very grateful to you for bringing that tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much. No, without any further ado, we have heaps and heaps of... We'll lift the tempo a little bit now. We have the sad side of our history, but then again we have the bit of jollification. And I might ask Peter Sweeney to come down. Peter, would you like to sing a song? Of your choice. Peter has huge interest in songs of all types, and he's from Ireland. He can sing Irish songs and he can sing Marty Robbins American songs. So Peter, look, I'll hand it over to you. All right? Yeah. Thanks very much.
The night was dark and the trouble ended. Moon shone down on O'Connell Street.
I stood alone where bread none there got to me. The first I made was a great father, searching for his only son. I said, old man, there is no use searching, for straight to heaven your son is gone. My God, he cried, I am broken hearted. Bending knee, I heard him cry. I knew my son was too kind-hearted. I knew my son would never heal. The next I made was a fair young maiden, kneeling by her lover's side. She prayed to God, her heavenly Father. She prayed to God, his soul to guide. The last I made was a dying rebel. Bending knee, I heard him cry. God bless my home in dear Cork City. God bless the cause for which I die. My only son was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country home. He fought for Ireland and Ireland only. The heart of Shamrock, green, white and gold. Thanks, Peter.
Well, vi an ceolagus an craic go húnta chun sundan ói sa Bélín agus tásúlagum gomine shiftenov a rishas cuide dó an tachtan shachoing. We are heading over now for the second part, I believe this is, of the Ploughing Championship, which we brought to you last week.
Of prizes here in Coolcower after a very successful ploughing match held on the lands of Petkeller Castleview, where there were up to 48 competitors. Delighted to be joined with some of the winners here today, and the first two people that I'm interviewing, I have Jerry Creedon on my right, winner of the new competition that we had here, basically to cater for the big increase in reversible ploughing that's taking place in the catchment area, and I'm delighted to welcome Jerry Creedon, who was the winner of that competition, and followed closely home by a very young competitor here, namely Pa Buckley. We have Jerry from Mashonaglass and we have Pa from Glonaglock and Ryland. Jerry, this is the first time we had this competition. Were you expecting to do well, or did you get a bit of a shock when your name was called out as the winner?
I was surprised enough, actually, because well, there was only 1 point between the two of us, and they were all fairly similar. The three of us are fairly similar there, and I was surprised, actually. Yeah.
As I said, this is the first time we had this competition to cater. How many competitors, you might tell our listeners, how many competitors were competing in this class, and what was the ground? You might explain to our listeners that what type of ground that you were playing, and how did it turn for you today?
The ground was good, in fairness, yeah, it was no problem, and there was 5 competitors in the class there, and
How did the ground, what kind of a plot had you, or was it easy to plough, being stubble, or did you meet many stones, or was it very kind of free draining, clay type soil?
It was fairly, it was sandy enough, it was good, there was no problem. It was probably easier this year with stubble, usually it is ban, like, but I had no problem anyway.
You ploughed, you might tell our listeners what type of gear that you had, what tractor and plough you ploughed with today in the competition.
I had a New Holland 8560 and 4 for Clondrohid plough.
Interview E on the left, namely Pat Buckley. Pat, about 17 years of age, I think at this stage probably would have been the youngest competitor in the county class. Pat, were you surprised that there was only one mark, and maybe a little disappointed that if you had another mark you'd have drawn with this man on my right?
I was disappointed, or I wasn't disappointed, but I was surprised that I was that close to him. Like, I've no experience of it, and I thought that he would have won by a mile. Like,
this is your first time, I think. Today is your maiden voyage, is that right?
Yeah, first time today playing in the competition.
Coming from a family that is steeped in tradition of the ploughing, being a son of Connie and Mary Buckley from Clondrohid, obviously, was there that bit of extra pressure when you're coming from a family that had a very long tradition of ploughing?
Yeah, there was a small bit, like, but sure, all I can do is the best I can do, like, and on the day, and that's all I can do.
You might tell our listeners what you ploughed with, what type of tractor and plough, and what was your overall impression of your ploughing when you finished out with the furrow? I know now in hindsight you can see the markings, but were you happy when you stepped out, and maybe tell what type tractor you're using?
I used a New Holland M115 and 4 for Clondrohid versatile plough. And
that's good. So we wish our every success and hope that we'll see more of the Buckleys ploughing in the near future. So may I take this opportunity to wish both of you every success in the years ahead, and thank you for giving of your time to do this interview for LTV. Thank you. Right, we have some more competitors here who are with big broad smiles on their face, and why wouldn't they? I'm delighted to be joined here by Kevin O'Riordan on my right from Cool Daniel, and on my left is our treasurer and Mort Ambrose, who was runner-up, Mort from Balnagree, who was runner-up in the local tree furrow. Kevin, you were ploughing in the tree furrow. Were you delighted to have collected the trophy here, the Bridge Bar trophy here, or were you surprised, or were you expecting to be so far ahead?
No, I was delighted to win it, right, of course, yeah. But, I got good help too today when I was starting off, and I had my brother there because he'd normally be ploughing, but he wasn't able to go today. Or he was there, but he wasn't able to plough. And I'd help from another man, Neely Coakley there. He gave me a fierce boost for things he knows, and it was great to him to pass on the information as well. So it all helped along to the winning of it.
What was your overall impression of the site today, and what did you think of the ground?
Yeah, the site, it was a fine site actually. It was nice. Only it was a pity that it rained on it so early in the start of it. But no, the ground was fine. The stubble, it was grand to plough in it, and there was no hassles really with stones and nothing. No, it was very fine ground, yeah.
Right. You were ploughing today in this local tree furrow. What gear had you today, or what tractor were you ploughing with him plough?
It was a KS International 1394 and a Clondrohid tree furrow plough.
Be faster. So in the competition today, you were being followed home by none other than Mort. Mort, you haven't ploughed for a while, I think, at Macroom. I think maybe it is going back a few years. When did you last plough for Macroom, or at Macroom?
2004, Richard.
And was that your first ploughing match?
No, that was my second.
Is that right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, things didn't go too well that day. And the ground conditions were a bit hard that day, and I couldn't get the plough to go down deep enough, and it was only just like ploughing banana skins, and we abandoned ship, unfortunately, in the middle of it.
Where was that ploughing held the day? I'm sure you have vivid memories of it.
That was in Macroom at Tim Creedon's, I think. Tim Creedon's farm. Yes. Down Macroom. And it was a great day, actually, a fine dry day and everything, but unfortunately it did rain at the end of the evening, right, and it made the parking and things a bit hard, and it made the ground conditions fairly hard going as well, unfortunately.
However, you have learned from that experience, what is it, 7 years ago? Near enough. A few years back. Today, what prompted you to take up the challenge again and get your tractor? I see you had a very clean New Holland. I'm not sure what gear you were ploughing with there today. You might tell our listeners.
Yeah, I had a 125 horsepower New Holland 125 and Ransom's Overham 3/4 plough standard.
Well done, and we look forward to seeing more of you ploughing at Macroom annual ploughing match in the years ahead. So well done to both of you.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Mark. I'm delighted to welcome Matthew Coakley. Matthew was the winner in today's County 3/4 standard class. Matthew, you must be surely delighted. First time ploughing in Macroom, and you walk away with the gold medal.
I am. I've a bit of practice put in alright, and I suppose I've good mentors, and as you know, that tractor and plough has been inherited from first of all the first man that had it won an All-Ireland title with it, and
you're referring, of course,
to Connie Buckley, Roy Lane, and the man that had it after him, I suppose in the West Cork, won an awful heap of ploughing matches. He's a house full of trophies at home, Pat Casey, and I suppose I'm lucky that 'tis my turn now to have a go off it.
Yeah, no doubt. I know that the tractor is half the equation, but equally the operator equally has a big role. I know that, as you mentioned, Connie won in All-Ireland in '99, and obviously Pat Casey has done well at county level and has gone on to represent his county, and unfortunately All-Ireland success eluded him on one or two occasions. Obviously you have a lot to live up to now that you're ploughing with this tractor. You might outline to the listeners what tractor you are actually ploughing with, what make it is and what plough you're using.
Yeah, I'm ploughing there with tis fairly well known now at this stage, the tractor to the 5.6 Ford Fitzmyer cab with the 3/4 Cleverland plough. I suppose I'm inheriting it and it is in good shape, and I suppose it's all set up now too, like, and Connie is all the hard work done really. And
Pat, so hopefully we'll see more of you and wish you every success in 2010 and in the years ahead. Thank you, Matthew. Thanks for the interview. Like to welcome an up-and-coming ploughman following in the footsteps of his father, namely JJ. I'd like to welcome Jeremiah. Obviously, maybe Jeremiah has been in the background for a few years, but obviously he has been ploughing his own furrow. Jeremiah, you won the under 40 today. You must be delighted with your performance, and were you happy with today's ploughing that you did?
Here I am. Do you know, the conditions weren't great, like, but do you know, we did the best we could, you know, and do you know, all we can do is the best we can at the end of the day.
You're, as I said, you were ploughing with the one set of horses, and obviously your father has located the trophy here on our right. He's now gone for 5 in a row at this stage in Macroom, I think, going back to 2006, 7, 8, 9, and now 2010, another start of a decade. But maybe it mightn't be so long when we'll see Jeremiah etching out the old fluff, this Millennium Trophy that we put up.
Yeah, sure. Look, as time goes on, we'll ploughing away every year, and whatever, we'll just take whatever comes at the end of the day.
Overall impression with the site, and how did it go for you, your own plots?
Yeah, the site was a brilliant site, in fairness. You know, the rain upset us alright. It was mucky and things like, but you know, we got through it alright, in fairness.
Any hidden jewels or diamonds in the ground as in the form of stones?
No, there was very little stones there now today. In fairness, I hit one stone alright in my plot, but you know, in other words, the place was very good. The ground very good.
Right. Who was helping today leading the horses? And who was coaching you?
Who was coaching me in my plot was JJ, my father, and Mary Hurley from Kishgame was leading the horses. And in fairness, she's well able for her job. And only for her, we wouldn't have done it all, because you have to coach the horses fairly well, like, in that game. But otherwise than that, only for the father, I wouldn't do it all really. He's at the horses and ploughing with a long time, and
Jeremiah, thank you for giving of your time here at the presentation of prizes here in Coolcour Hotel. And I know, and I speak on behalf of all the people in Macroom Ploughing Association, that you keep up the good work, and hopefully that All Ireland success, which has eluded you maybe in the past few years, that it won't be too long before you emulating the feat of the famous Harrigan brothers, where you might notch up a goal in the under 40, and hopefully that we'll see more of you as you move on in life and follow in your father's footsteps and be competing in the senior horse ploughing throughout the county. So thank you, Jeremiah, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks, Jeremiah. Well done. No bother to you. I'm delighted to have with me our youngest competitor at Macroom Ploughing, and I'd like you to introduce Alan Lynch. Alan comes from the model village of Dripsey in the barony of Muzri. Alan, what competition were you ploughing in today?
Local reversible.
And was today your maiden voyage? Was today your first time ploughing?
In competitions, yes.
And do you do much ploughing when you're at home in Dripsey?
Yeah, a lot.
Do you plough many acres if you're at home, or do you do a lot of ploughing, help you out your dad Willem?
Around 20 acres. Yeah.
You ploughed up to 20 acres.
Roughly.
Today you were ploughing in the local reversible. I didn't get an opportunity to see the tractor, but you might just tell our listeners what gear you ploughed with today, your tractor and plough.
It was in 6610 John Deere with a Neverland reversible plough in the local reversible class, and I was
Where were you placed in your competition, and were you happy with your performance today?
I was placed in number 53, and yeah, I was, yeah.
You were ploughing in plot number 53. Were there many other competitors in the class with you?
5.
So you were obviously up against being a young chap, and I think who was your coach today?
I'd say William Lynch, my father, or Jamie Holland.
So did they give you good advice, and did you take their advice on board, and did you do with what they were suggesting you to do?
Yeah.
Wise decision. 24th of January 2010. So Alan, thanks for your time, and we wish you every success in your years ahead, whatever way it turns for you. Well done, and thank you.
Thanks.
Good man. Thanks a million. As the curtain comes down on the 2010 annual ploughing match, which was held today, the 24th of January, on the lands of Pat Keller, Castleview, to whom we are greatly indebted for affording us the opportunity to plough such an excellent stubble soil today. And the compliments coming from the various ploughmen were very impressed with the standard of the site that we provided for them to plough. We had an excellent turnout here today with 48 competitors braving the frosty morning, and then there's some light drops of rain which turned quite nasty as the day progressed, and we're grateful to our 48 competitors for coming along. As you probably know, that this ploughing match took place at very short notice due to the fact that we faced a cancellation earlier in the month due to the big freeze over that we experienced, which we haven't experienced for a number of years. And we didn't expect to be ploughing until the 21st of February, but we got an opportunity and we seized it, and the gamble proved successful, and we're delighted that we ploughed on today. And we're now finishing off the evening. We're after the presentation. We'd like to thank all of the people that made today's event such a success, namely our sponsors, the band who are playing here in the background at the minute, and also the members of the press who covered it, namely the Cork Examiner, the Lee Valley News, the Corkman, the Southern Star, and obviously local radio for giving us a lot of advertising in the run-up to bring it to the attention that we were a rescheduled Ploughing match. And last but by no means least, we want to thank local television, which provides a valuable link in providing information, a community link to provide information in the surrounding hinterland of the greater Macroom district. So obviously with the big turnout of competitors, equally we're delighted that a lot of the locals turned up to support the many competitors that we have here, because it's in much point for competitors while there's county positions at stake and competitors turn up, but equally it's encouraging for the competitors if there's a big crowd around to give them that extra boost, and it makes them feel more appreciated that they're able to show their skills to the greater public at large, and to those people that braved the elements at half one today. There was a quite nasty shower which may be a bit off-putting, but I am glad to see that a lot of our staunch supporters down through the years, and all the other supporters that may have been only attending Macroom Ploughing for the first time, we're delighted that you made the effort, and we'd like to thank you for your contributions at today's gate, which is very much appreciated and also helps defray the large expense that's involved in running a ploughing match, which can run up to maybe €6,000 or so. So thank you to the general public at large. So there's very little else for me to say, only that we had a very successful ploughing match with a good turnout, and I think everyone, there won't be too many people complaining as the curtain comes down on this. So to our viewers, I say good night, God bless, as I report here from Coolcower after a very successful evening and meal which was provided here by the local hotel with Evelyn, the proprietress, and our excellent staff who fed up to about 120 or 30 people here earlier this evening. So well done to everybody, and to the hard-working committee who worked tirelessly in the past 5 days to make this an outstanding success. So to you, the listeners, LTV, I say good night, God bless, as we bring the curtain down on again a successful 2010 Macroom ploughing match.
As I walk by Glencar, so happy and content, it pays those meadows I have walked alone. May the scenes of contentment on my own side of home, where the bright lights of London are pretty to see, and the sidewalks of New York are so grand to me. Someday I will wander back home across the fold to take the road westward on my own side of home. Sailors begin, and the heart of the rain, and the sun reclaiming all sweet Sligo Bay. Let carry for flow out to the coast, and next to the green hills on my own side of home. Farewell to the old homes and the kind folks I knew. Every song has a story, all so kind and true. Someday I will wander back home across the floor to take the road westward
concludes our programmes for tonight. Tásulgum go bhaintsih 10 of us to Gallant, agus go meisih fechan tríist an tachtan Shakooing.
Like tortoise higher gunmen came and shut McCartan down. They thought the IRA was dead in Coxon rebel town, but they got the rude awakening when the debt was partly paid in Lisburn and the lower road by the first Cork Brigade. Glory, glory to old Ireland, glory, glory to our Ireland, glory, glory to the men who fought and fell. No surrender is the war cry of the first Cork Brigade. We bombed them in the Abbey, we bombed them in the Glen, we bombed them up in Dillon's Cross, they bombed us back again. We bombed them in the Wessie and we bombed them in the Parade, and we gave them Buchanan in the first Cork Brigade. Glory, glory to old Ireland, glory, glory to our Ireland, glory, glory to the men who fought and fell. No surrender is the war cry of the first Cork Brigade. We have no shiny gaiters or no samplon bells to show, but we're able to defend ourselves wherever we may go. We're out for the Republic and to hell with your free state, and we are the boys of the first Cork Brigade. Glory, glory to old Ireland, glory, glory to our Ireland, glory, glory to the men who fought and fell. No surrender is the war cry of the first Cork Brigade. She is seated on a hill, the lovely city, but her feet are in the waters cool and deep. In her harbour safe, the ships are trim and pretty, whilst above her glowing hills a vigil keeps. They're the lights I like to watch in happy childhood. They're the lights I watched in boyhood, young and gay. They're the lights that shine on hills above Cork City. In the twilight at the closing of each day. When an exile comes back home, they go to greet him, and their glamour spells a welcome on his breast. All his friends turn out to kiss and greet him. In their smiles he is enfolded and caressed. There's a golden glow on Patrick's and St. Barry's, at Blackrock up by the lock and UCC, where an ancient borough sleeps between two rivers. The twin sisters from their mother lovely lead. They're the lights that shone for gallant young McSweeney. For pub, and from there to Sullivan's pub. Round us in Gallant the porter will flow. We'll drink a health to Doyley's race, and then tap another half beers. Here's up to all, says the boys up Fair Hill. Now come up to Faithwell for the pint of pure spring water, the best place of all. Show the angels do stay, where thousands come from all the foam to kiss the famous Blarney Stone. Evergreen bounds to the boys up Fair Hill. Come boys and spend the day with our ball players so gay. Loft of the ball sure would make your heart thrill. And when you hear the shea boys say, Timmy Delaney won today, here's up from all, says the boys up Fair Hill. Come boys and you'll see lads and lassies full of glee, famous for all show that make your heart thrill. The boys they won't harm you, the girls they will charm you. Here's up to all, says the boys up Fair Hill. The Rockies thought that they were stars until they met the St. Fin bars. Here's up from all, says the boys up Fair Hill. And the Blackpool hens don't lay at all, and when they lay them small. Here's up from all, says the boys up Fair Hill. There's a spot far away o'er the wide spreading ocean, a spot which the fond heart will never forget. For memory clings round it, so pure and so tender, that even its name brings a throb of regret. Regret for the long vanished days of my childhood, when earth was all pleasure and life knew but joy. But could I recall them, those bright golden hours I spent long ago in the town of Fermoy? The grand old black water flows down through its meadows, sings silently, swiftly, by Green Castle High, going on neath the ivy-clad bridge o'er its bosom, where peaceful and fair stands the town by its side. And only in dreams can I hear the sweet pealing of bells from the hills with their cadence of joy, ringing mellow and sweet as the Angelus power o'er mountain and wildwood round dear old Fermoy. Farewell, dear old home, but I won't say forever, for deep in my heart a fond hope still clings on, that one day again I may gaze on black water and watch the moon rise o'er the hill of St. John. But glad though they be, and joy is the welcome, its light would be darkened by one sad light. For many the loved ones who last roamed these with me now stayed far away from the town of Fermoy. lorries gave tidings that the boys of Kilmichael had won. Then here's to the boys of Kilmichael who fared not the might of a foe. The day that they marched into battle, they laid all the black and tans low. The lorries were ours before twilight, and high over Dunmanway town, our banners in triumph were waving before the next sun had gone down. We gathered our rifles and bayonets, and then left the glen so obscure, and never drew rein till we halted at the faraway camp at Glenore. Then here's to the boys of Kilmichael who fared not the might of the foe. The day that they marched into battle, they laid all the black and tans low. Fare thee well, my lovely Dinah, 1,000 times adieu. For we're going away from the holy ground, and the girls we all love true. We will sail the salt sea over, and we'll return for the shore, to see again the girls we love, and the holy ground once more. Fine girl you are, you're the girl I do adore, and still I live in hope to see the holy ground once more. And now the storm is raging, and we are far from shore, and the good old ship is tossing about, and the rigging is all tore. But the secret of my mind, my love, you're the girl I do adore, and still I live in hopes to see the holy ground once more. Fine girl you are, you're the girl I do adore, and still I live in hopes to see the holy ground once more. And now the storm is over, and we are safe and well. We will go into a public house, and we'll sit and drink history's pages, heroes of great fame, the deeds they done, the battles won, how they made their name. But the boys who gave us history